Let me say something that is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. Buying a home is not an investment. I know. I know what you've been told. I know what your parents said. I know what your coworkers said when you told them you were still renting. I know the look people give you at family dinners when you admit you don't own property yet. Buying a home is the single most universally accepted financial move in the entire culture. It is treated as an unquestionable truth. The thing responsible adults do, the milestone that separates the financially serious from the financially reckless. And it is one of the most expensive financial myths of the modern era. Now, before you click away, I want to be very clear about what I am and I'm not saying. I'm not saying you should never buy a home. I'm not saying renting is always better. I'm not saying homeownership has no value. What I am saying is that the specific belief that a home is an investment, that it is a wealth-building vehicle the same way a stock portfolio or a business is a wealth-building vehicle, is factually incorrect. And believing that myth has cost millions of people hundreds of thousands of dollars in opportunity cost, hidden fees, and financial decisions made on a false foundation. So let's look at the proof. The first piece of evidence comes from one of the most respected economists in the world, Robert Shiller, Nobel Prize winner, creator of the Case-Shiller Home Price Index. The most widely used measure of U.S. home prices, studied American home prices going all the way back to 1890. And what he found was that after adjusting for inflation, the average annual return on residential real estate over more than 100 years was approximately 0.3% per year. Not 3%, 0.3. That is barely above zero. For comparison, the S&P 500 has returned roughly 7% per year after inflation over a similar long-term period. We're talking about a difference of almost 25 times the return. And yet the home is considered the smart investment while the stock market is considered the risky one. Now you might be thinking, but home prices have gone up a lot in recent years. And you're right, they have. But here's what that argument misses. Home prices going up is not the same as your home being a good investment. Because when you calculate the actual return on a home, you cannot just look at the sale price versus the purchase price. You have to subtract everything you paid along the way. And the list of what you paid along the way is long, expensive, and almost never talked about honestly. Let's run through it. You buy a home for $300,000. Over the next 30 years, you pay a mortgage. At a 6% interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage, your total payments come to roughly $640,000. You've already paid more than double the purchase price just in principal and interest. But we're not done. Property taxes. In most American states, property taxes run somewhere between 1% and 2% of the home's value per year. On a $300,000 home, that's $3,000 to $6,000 a year. Over 30 years, that's anywhere from $90,000 to $180,000. And that number grows as the home's value grows. Maintenance and repairs. Financial planners typically estimate 1% to 2% of the home's value per year in maintenance costs. New roof, HVAC replacement, water heater, foundation issues, appliances, paint, plumbing. Over 30 years on a $300,000 home. That's another $90,000 to $180,000. Homeowner's insurance. At another $100 to $200 a month, or roughly $40,000 to $70,000 over 30 years. HOA fees, if applicable. Closing costs when you bought. Typically 2% to 5% of the purchase price. Closing costs when you sell. Realtor commissions alone are typically 5% to 6% of the sale price. Add all up, on a $300,000 home held for 30 years, your all-in cost before you see a single dollar profit could easily be $900,000 to over $1 million. Now, if that home sells for $600,000 30 years later, which would represent a doubling in price, which sounds great, you haven't made $300,000 a profit. You potentially lost money when you account for everything you spent to own it. And you've lost 7% per year in returns you could have made in an index fund with the same money. This is what economists call opportunity cost. Every dollar tied up in a down payment, in mortgage payments above what rent would have cost, in maintenance and taxes, that is money that could have been compounding in a market. And over 30 years, compounding is everything. Now here's where someone always says, but you have to live somewhere. And that's true. You do have to live somewhere. And rent is money that's also gone every month. The comparison isn't between buying and throwing money away. The comparison is between buying and renting while investing the difference. And when you actually run that comparison carefully, accounting for real estate returns, market returns, rent costs, ownership costs, and tax benefits, the answer is genuinely not always obvious. Sometimes buying wins. Sometimes renting and investing wins. It depends heavily on how long you stay in the home, what market you're in, what interest rate you get, and what happens to the market during your ownership period. The Yale economist who ran these numbers, Robert Shiller again, has said publicly that he personally rented for years because the math in his market didn't favor buying. The man who literally invented the index used to measure home prices, decided renting made more financial sense. Let that land. So where did this myth come from? Why does everyone believe so firmly that buying a home is the smartest financial move you can make? A few reasons. The first is leverage. When you buy a home with a 20% down payment, you're controlling a $300,000 asset with $60,000. If the home goes up 10%, you've made $30,000 on a $60,000 investment. That's a 50% return on your actual cash. Leverage amplifies returns. But here's what people forget. Leverage also amplifies losses. And leverage doesn't change the underlying return of the asset itself. The home still returned 0.3% after inflation. Leverage just means you borrowed money to buy more of a low-returning asset, which introduces risk without fundamentally changing the investment quality. The second reason is forced savings. For a lot of people, the mortgage payment is the only savings discipline they have. Every month, a chunk of the payment goes toward paying down principal, toward equity. And for people who would otherwise spend that money, the forced savings element of a mortgage is genuinely valuable. But this is a behavioral benefit, not an investment benefit. It says more about spending habits than about whether real estate is a good investment. The third reason is survivorship bias. We hear constantly about people who bought in San Francisco in 1990 or New York in 1995 and made a fortune. We almost never hear about people who bought in Detroit in 2005 or Las Vegas in 2006 and lost everything. The people who did well talk about it. The people who didn't don't. And our perception of real estate as a guaranteed winner is shaped almost entirely by the winners telling their stories. So what should you actually do with this information? First, if you're going to buy a home, buy it as a home. Buy it because you want stability, because you want to put down roots, because you want to renovate your kitchen without asking a landlord, because you want your kids in a specific school district. Those are all legitimate and valuable reasons to buy. Just don't buy it primarily because you think it's going to make you rich. Because historically, it probably won't, not compared to the alternatives. Second, if you're renting and feeling same about it, stop. Renting is not throwing money away. Renting is paying for housing, a service you need, while potentially keeping your capital free to work harder elsewhere. Whether that's actually the smarter financial move in your specific situation depends on your numbers. Run them. Don't make a decision based on cultural pressure. Third, if you do buy, understand all the costs before you sign. Not just a mortgage payment, the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance reserve, the opportunity cost of a down payment, the full picture. Because the mortgage payment is the smallest part of what homeownership actually costs. And fourth, whatever you decide about housing, make sure you're investing separately. The single biggest financial mistake homeowners make is treating their home equity as their retirement plan. Home equity is a liquid, concentrated in a single asset, and, as we've established, historically a poor long-term return compared to diversified market investments. Your home should be where you live. Your investment portfolio should be where you build wealth. Look, I understand why this idea is uncomfortable. The home is wrapped up in identity, in family, in the American dream, in the feeling of having made it. And none of that is nothing. Those things have real value that doesn't show up in a spreadsheet. But the financial case for home ownership as an investment vehicle has always been weaker than the culture wants to admit. And now you've seen the numbers. Buy a home if it makes sense for your life. Just don't confuse it with an investment, because the moment you do, you stop asking the right questions. And in personal finance, the right questions are everything.